I just don't know if I can pretend.
You can't tell anyone, Alan. It's illegal. And Dennison is looking for any excuse he can to put you away.
I know.
This has to stay a secret.
Come on, it's your turn.
That was a scene from the critically acclaimed film The Imitation Game. One of the stars is Allen Leech. Allen joins us today in the studio, and you can also see him on Downton Abbey. Allen Leech, welcome.
Been on a course.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So what in particular drew you to this movie?
The script, Graham Moore's script, is absolutely phenomenal, and also the story about this man. I finished the last page, I closed the script, and I was quite emotional and also quite angry about the fact that why didn't I know more about this man? He was such an integral man to our society as we live in now. He also ended the war, they believe, 2 years early with the saving of 14 million lives. And I was really surprised that while I'd heard his name, why is he not celebrated in the way that he should be? And through the movie, and you can see why that is the case, and the fact is, you know, he's been shrouded in secrecy for a number of reasons. Number one, what he did was very secret, but also I think there's genuine embarrassment from the British government about how they treated this man purely because of his sexuality. And it's great that this movie really is a celebration of Alan Turing. It's also a celebration of being different.
Your character, John Cairns-Cross, the movie only touches upon it, but he did work as a Soviet spy.
Yes.
So what was your take on that element of the character? Because when people tend to hear the term Soviet spy, they think, oh my God, bad guy, you know, so I would love to hear your take on it.
Yeah, I think what you've just hit the nail on the head. People immediately assume that you're a bad guy, and Cairns-Cross genuinely believed, and he's written a book called The Enigma Spy, and he genuinely believed he was helping the war effort. He wanted to bring a cessation to the war as early as possible, and he thought by sharing information, he was doing his part to do that.
A precious machine. I doubt you'll ever see him again.
And I was very conscious and not to play him as a bad guy, and that's why at the end of the day, okay, there is a scene in the movie where his morals are maybe slightly questionable, but at the end of the day, he really was trying to do the right thing. And I was very conscious playing that, and I felt that responsibility, not to portray him as a bad guy, because he genuinely, I think Cairns-Cross was a great man. And I also believe that he was working for the MI6 rather than the way some people think that he was just a Soviet spy, because it came out that he was a spy, and he was never charged. He was never prosecuted for treason, which carried the death penalty at that time. Yet a man, purely for his sexuality, who gave so much, he was prosecuted because of who he loved.
John Cairns-Cross was a Soviet spy on Downton Abbey. Tom Branson is a supporter. He's a pro-Russian proletariat. Are you attracted to those kinds of characters?
No, I'm terrified I'm going to start getting typecast. Essentially, I'll only ever play socialists.
But you do it so well.
Thank you. Yeah. What are your own political views? They're not socialist. I suppose, yeah, it's just something that's happened, but they're two very interesting characters, two very different times in history.
Right.
But yeah, it is interesting. But then you could say that Tom's view in Downton has changed a lot over the last couple of years.
Your character in The Imitation Game is rather unreliable, dubious, and Tom Branson is, I would say, the antithesis. He wears his heart on his sleeve, he's good, he's loyal. So what was it like for you just taking on such a different character? Yeah,
it's the great joy of this profession, is the fact that you can go and you can jump and change and play characters that are so different. And that's the challenge as an actor. And I think I always love finding characters that are different, and the opportunity of playing something and challenging myself as a performer to convince the audience. And I've had so many people come up to me and with The Imitation Game as well said, you know, we expected him to be almost like Tom, and at the start he is, and that's the great thing, that you can kind of lull people into a false sense of security and then do that to them and they're like,